Let's take it from the top. I was born in Beijing, China, and for as long as I can remember, art has been a big part of my life. I took my first drawing class at the age of 3. Over the next 4 years, pencils and markers evolved into ink pads and brushes. I dabbled in everything from sketching to Chinese painting to calligraphy, and I loved it. You see, I was never an articulate or eloquent child. I was the quiet introvert type. I was most comfortable speaking through my art and drawing. It represented my identity, my creativity, and my imagination. It was a medium for me to freely express my thoughts and ideas. Moving along. When I was 7 years old, my family and I moved to Singapore. Thus began the most trying year of my childhood. There I was in my new class, meeting my teachers and classmates for the first time. A nerve-wracking but exciting experience that I'm sure most of us have felt. Oh, but wait. I realized on the first day of school that everyone spoke English. The problem? The only English word I knew was frog. "16 years later, I found myself in a similar situation. It's my first day at school again, but this time as a teacher. There I was, in my new class, meeting my students for the very first time. With a class full of unique individuals, how am I going to keep my lessons engaging while keeping the content accessible? So what happened in both stories? Well, it was back to the drawing board for me, literally and figuratively. As a first grader trying to learn English for the first time, I needed a way to communicate. The best way I knew how? Drawing. Life became a game of Pictionary. I relied on my drawings to speak my mind. My doodles became my words. Art was the bridge to the world around me. As things turned out, my first year in Singapore wasn't so bad after all. Fortunately for me, I found teaching science to be a lot like drawing. This time around, it was my goal and responsibility to make sure my student had access to the curriculum. I needed to find ways to communicate new scientific concepts to my student through what they understood and what they were interested in. In order for me to do that, I had to dig deep into my mind and tap into my creativity to make each lesson come alive. From hands-on lab activities and dissections, to versatile group and station exercises, to unique experiments and presentations, my students began to take charge of their own learning. By the time June rolled around, my classroom had become a canvas for all of my students. We filled our notebooks with our knowledge and ideas and painted the walls with our progress and creativity. In the end, when it's time to take a step back and have a look at what all that time and effort have amounted to, the result may be pleasantly surprising. It may not always turn out as expected. Teaching is meant to take on a life of its own.